This meeting is being recorded.
Hey Gabriel, man with the good background. Was that art inspired by the art piece that's behind you?
Wait. The what? Sorry?
No, the art piece that's behind you. I don't know. It seems like, yeah, is that you or is that a character?
It's Kratos from God of War, the video game.
Okay, yeah, it looks similar because right now your
Yeah, it's quite
hairstyle, yeah, matches. So I
yeah,
was
it's quite
confused.
similar.
Yeah, from here it
Yeah,
looks
it
like
was
yours. Yeah.
yeah. I really like I'm not playing much video game right now, but I really love this character, all his history and all. It was a gift actually. This
Oh, that's nice.
is in wood. Like the guy burns in wood, you know? Like let
Uh-huh.
me get it. Like it's with flames, you know? Like
Oh wow, that's really
it's
nice.
like I don't know how he does it, but he burns the wood
Uh-huh.
and bro, it's perfect.
Yeah, it
Like
looks really good. I just played one time on PSP and it was just God of War.
yeah, God of War is the best.
Yeah. Guys, you can so on today's session, right? I want everyone to be interactive because it's going to be like really important. So turn on your cameras and be interactive on this call. Shouldn't be like yesterday where it was just few talking and the rest were like clueless. So yeah, and for today I've prepared something that's really special, something that most people don't cover, even after, and you'll be learning today. Uh, Leon, I think this is the most easiest way I can pronounce your name. You have like 4 words in your name. I'm just going to pick the easiest one that I can pronounce, okay? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Actually, you can call me Tony. It's a lot easier, man.
Tony?
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's my nickname. So you can call me Tony. That's fine.
All right, cool. Just waiting others to join too. By the way, like you guys managed to go through the training videos that were sent, before.
You mean the ones that were in the spreadsheet?
That's right. Yeah, because that
Yeah.
there was an action item given to all that you have to watch them.
Yeah, I did watch some. I could not finish it all.
Mhm.
Let me see. I watched the three first ones.
All right. Even if you watch 3, that's good enough. But yeah, it would have been great if you could have watched everything.
Yeah, I will look at uh, all of them today and tomorrow.
Okay.
Tops.
Yeah, just counting how many are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. T and Soji, you guys can hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, I'll be getting started. Okay. And just give me a minute. Soju, can you mute yourself because there's background noise coming and it's just yeah, thank you. I'm just closing few unnecessary tabs here. All right, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's say at least with half of the people on this call, we had covered until, what the general framework of conversing with leads looks like. But I'm just going to have a quick recap for the ones who missed out. Tony, so you have done appointment setting before?
Yeah, actually, I used to do like most of the experience that I have is on appointment setting. So yeah, I understand.
All right. And you do understand how to deal with leads with IG shoutouts?
With what?
Uh, if the source of traffic is Instagram shoutouts, you're familiar with how to converse with those specific leads, or is that something you're not familiar with?
Well, mainly what I was doing it was over the phone, so I think like it's probably something different.
Okay, so you used to do phone appointment setting, if I'm
Yeah.
all right. Just seeing who else is new. All right. I think rest of us, everyone knows what shoutout looks like. Tony, I'm just going to give you a quick recap. Shoutout basically means, I'm just going to show you an example right now.
By shout outs, you mean ads, right? Basically, Jatin.
Ads, but in the form of shout outs. Because if it's targeted ads, what happens is Instagram would target, let's say you're interested in like e-com, your behavior would be like you consume a lot of e-commerce content, right? So IG already knows that you're well educated. So you're somewhere in the warm prospect who understands the industry. But let's take shout outs for example, right? Let's see here. This is not a shout out. I'm just trying to find like a shout out here. Let's see if there's a shout out here. Okay, this is a perfect example of what a group shout out looks like. So ideally you would be getting source of traffic from here. Like these are some, let's say, viral hooks, but towards the end, it shows to if you want to be like a better version of yourself, like follow these people. Okay. So what's really happening? It's this not targeted, this not as targeted as it's giving you mass audience. People might follow the first 10 people here, like they just want to get better at life. Okay, they just want to make more money, but would they be making money through ecom? Not really sure. Even they're not sure. They don't understand ecom. So basically what you have to understand, the source of traffic that you'd be getting on these accounts is mass traffic who aren't really familiar with what the industry is, and they don't even know you because they just followed you like right away, right? So how do you have conversations with these leads that even if they're new, you're able to build that trust, you're able to build that rapport and book them in the next 24 to 48 hours? If that makes sense, Tony.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so you'd have to understand. That's why on yesterday's call, I'll be sending you this doc. It's pretty self-explanatory, but what you have to keep in mind is lead often come from mass audience, meaning they may show interest, but not fully. They don't even understand the offer. Okay. Tony, what are the kind of offers you have worked with previously, so I can give you a closer example?
I work with marketing offers, also coaching and
In
sales training.
coaching, what kind of you know, what
What
kind?
kind of coaching?
Yeah, like what kind of coaching offers?
It was business coaching.
Okay. Cool. In business also there's Amazon FBA, YouTube automation and all that. But let's say I see this post, I want to make more money, but I don't know how. So I follow these people and you would see every single coach over here has their own offer. If I click on Kunal Shah, he has IG theme page offer. If I go back and click on, let's say, this one has a trading offer, right? So all of them are coaches, they're running their own specific offers. Here what we need to make sure is that we educate them on the offer to show them why this could be the potential way for you to make money. Okay, so that's why you should understand the prospects that you will be dealing with. They're not the hottest prospect, they're not the warmest prospect. That's where you have to, like, your primary task is to identify and unpack their pain points. Okay, that that initially attracted them towards the opportunity. Okay, and we'll be going in deep on how you actually do that today. Okay, cool. So let's actually, we were on this gender framework of conversation, and if you guys have gone through the trainings, I believe most of you guys have done it. The conversation, it's pretty clear. We analyze the profile, we identify, on how aware they're about business models. And this is something that I mentioned. When you explain a business model, you have to make it sound exciting, right? So I just got another example here. Yesterday, as I covered for appointment setting, if anyone positioned it as like, appointment setting is nothing but you're going to do sales, no one would be joining that specific coach or the course. But if you position the appointment setting offer in a way that, hey, you can make money by just typing messages on Instagram, that sounds more fun and it sounds more relatable, and it also gets you curious. How do you do it? That's why, like, at least most of the people were attracted to this opportunity. If it was positioned like, hey, you'll be a sales rep selling coaching offers, no one would have joined. It doesn't sound exciting, it doesn't sound sexy. So you have to make your offer sound sexy and simple that people actually, they're more inclined towards it. So one of our clients, I'll just show you a picture. He said, hey guys, it's been insane day, night difference. In the last 2 weeks since we spoke, we have gone from booking 2 calls a week to 2 to 4 calls a day. Okay, they were booking almost like 4 calls a week. It went on to being in like a day. What was the major difference since making the change in the script? Appreciate your so the change was, so he had a copywriting offer. They were just explaining the copywriting offer as it is. Okay, it's basically like you help increase brand, increase more sales and all that. And they were expecting the prospect will already understand what copywriting is, so we don't have to make it sound really good, or we don't have to break it down. But the moment we made change in this, more people told, yes, I'm interested in copywriting. I don't have the earlier version, but this is what the new version looks like. It says, so basically most companies are growing online, and they need to send outright emails that gets them better engagement and boost overall revenue. That's why you can help them, as you will be valuable resource. You would need a laptop and internet connection. With Gmail copywriting, we teach you how to write high quality emails and find businesses that pay you 3 to 5,000. Sounds like something you'd be interested to learn about. This is relatable on every single stage, where you say that as most companies are growing online, that would make sense on why is that you're doing copywriting. And here you make it irresistible, saying that all you need is laptop and internet connection. And you'd also say finding high quality, we help you with high quality emails and finding businesses that will pay you. So this is more like no brainer. Not only you'll teach me, but you'll also help me with finding clients. And that is the part of the offer. So every time, remember, you have to make your offer sound good on the DMs to get like, yes, I'm interested, I'm willing to learn more. Because as you start setting or DM closing, whatever, you'll come across that if you position your offer like very boring, people will say no to that offer. So I'm stressing on this point again and again, because this is so crucial to make your offering sound so good that the conversation moves further. Because literally this is the second step of the conversation where you have to grab their interest. Okay, anyone has any questions before I move forward? All right. So we'll be diving deeper into, knowing their why, proposing the call. So I just want you guys to understand this, okay? Most of the appointment setters, even though, let's say they provided all the resources and the scripts that they need, okay? They would be, they either they'll be stuck in this or they move on to this. This is like a kind of a person, let's say this, your prospect is here who actually needs help, okay? And this is the appointment setter who's just trying to read conversation on the surface level, and he's trying to see like, okay, what script I can actually copy paste, and they're just like highly reliant on scripts. And this is something I do, like, this is something that I've seen everyone do. Okay, even though let's say they've been through the best training programs, what they're more reliant on is just the scripts. But scripts don't work with every single one of them. Okay, So from this, what happens is you'd be burning leads. Okay, you'll make less money even if you have most amount of leads, and you would lose your clients if if you're stuck in this. You have to complete this loop by actually being like this. A prospect is asking to help. You have a prospect here. You think properly, applying few sales psychological principles, and then you relate on where can I actually implement the framework on the script, and then you reply. So do you see the difference between, okay, this person told me this, I'm just thinking how to get a call booked. You see the script and you send some, you copy paste it. Instead, if you take a minute to actually think, okay, what is this guy trying to tell, and see where does this guy fit into the script, or can I even send the script, because it might not be relevant here. I would have to customize the conversation, because if you want to stand out from a lot of setters, you need to know the art of having those personalized conversations that will reveal their pain points. If you just talk to scripts, it'll reveal the pain point on the most surface level, and hence you'd be like only setting the warmest or the hottest leads. You wouldn't be able to set the skeptical ones. You wouldn't be able to set the cold leads. Okay, and the real art of conversation and the more money will be made with cold leads, where you'll be maximizing opportunities. Okay, that's why if you know that well, you would be making 3 times the money with same amount of leads, whereas this guy, even if he has good enough leads, he'll still make less money. The moment you complete the cycle, if you start doing this, you can be making 3x more money. And since you understand you're just not reliant on the warmest leads, you'll have tons of client opportunities as well, because you're more skilled at this point. You're not just someone who's just copy pasting scripts as an appointment setter. Does that make sense to everyone?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's why, like, you guys have your a path to choose, and I'm highly stressing on this, because even once we start deploying on clients' accounts, you are so anxious to make that commission or set that appointment that most of you guys might end up doing this mistake. So I literally had to like show you visually and not to do this, so you can always have this picture in mind. Are you doing this, or are you doing this? The moment you have awareness of something is the time you wouldn't make that mistake again. Okay, so these are the two visuals. So make sure you're completing this like an ecosystem, or like a loop or a circle that will help you with growth, rather than just doing this copy paste work for scripts. Okay, now, and that's also the same thing. So once the setter starts thinking like this would go from 2 to 4 calls booked a week to 2 to 4 calls booked a day. So that's what I'm also referring to. So once this is the thing what I mentioned. Make 3x more money with the same amount of leads. This is exactly what I meant. Yeah. Now the question comes is, how do you actually execute this, right? Because I can tell you to think, okay, you can think, but there should be a structure for thinking so you get the right results. Correct? Because everyone thinks in a different way. Who will know what's right? Okay, there are thousands of ways, but what we can do the best is to see what's the most proven ways that can help us get results that's already proven to work. So I have broken down this into 3 rules, 3 framework that you can follow to think and craft your messages. Okay, that will get you a better response rate and more calls booked, and 3 hacks to increase your booked calls. So all these are 3. So every time you'd be on the DMs, like, you can have this folder open and think, and if I'm going to frame my message, and if I'm following this framework, am I ticking all the boxes? Am I leveraging the top 3 hacks that would actually help me make the conversation better? And am I sticking to the rules, or am I breaking the rules? Life gets simpler. You don't have to do this anymore. So once you know the rules, once you know the framework, okay, and the hacks, you will start operating from here, because now you're giving your brain to think and then respond instead of doing this. Okay, And now let's dive in deeper into rules, and then we'll move forward with the rest, right? So this is like, a small sentence, but like really powerful. The goal of an appointment setter is not to propose a call, it's to make the prospect feel how important it is for them to get on a call with us. You should be operating from a mindset of not chasing, but pulling them towards you. And this is the first rule, like your mindset, because the moment you enter your DMs, most people come again here. How do I book this lead? How do I book this lead? But you should be thinking, how do I make this lead feel that, hey, you need to be on a call with me if you need to get your problem solved? Does that make sense? And this is like super important. Most of like the appointment setters who won't get good results, it's because they don't even consider appointment setting like this in the first place. Your perception would define your reality. If your perception is I just need to book a call to make commission, you'd be from your perception, your action starts coming out, right? If you start operating from that mindset. If your mindset is broken and negative, the way you'll be asking your questions and all will be like on a surface level or the wrong way. But if your mindset is right, and if your perception is also correct, the quality of the questions will automatically improve. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it starts with the mindset here. And after that, the mindset is correct. Then the next thing, what you can do is you can start asking and framing quality questions. Okay. Is that clear to everyone? You can just drop a yes in the chat before I move forward with the next rule. All right. Now, I'll just put the third rule is listen, listen, listen. Okay. In text, it's going to be like read, read, read. Okay. There's a reason why I've put it 3 times. One of the biggest things that I've noticed across all different offers is when the prospect is typing, you guys just read it. If you just read it on a surface level, you're going to give a surface level answer. Okay. It's more like someone's actually sharing all their pain points with you, or even if they're sharing a bit, like, small information, you'll just see a small information, you wouldn't be able to dig in deeper. So when I mean listen, 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 that's a reason why I put like 3 times. It's because when you read a conversation, okay, most of like the beginner appointment setters, or let's say even the so-called experienced ones, they just read it on a surface level. They don't see the message from an emotional level and a psychological level. If you read from a surface level, the response you're going to generate would be from a surface level. If you read from an emotional level, I see most people ask that question, oh, how would it impact your life, etc., etc., and you still don't get the response that you need. It's like, why is this guy not responding? Because this was there in the script. This was there in the script. I used it, and you'll be tensed. Okay, I used the script, nothing's working. It's because you haven't tapped into the deep psychological level of framing your messages that would get them to reveal more, that would build trust. The moment you're able to craft your messages that covers all of these 3 like intact, that's the time you'll be able to set more appointments and close more deals if you're DM closing. Okay, so every time a prospect is messaging you, you'll be having imagine, like, visualize this. Okay, this message is there. How do I analyze this on a surface level? What is this trying to say? What is the deeper meaning of it? Like, how is he like right now emotionally when he's typing this message? Okay, what even triggered this emotional state? That's a psychological level. This is so deep, but this can be seen through a message. And on this further calls, I'll be covering and showing you guys on how setters make the mistake of just answering from here and they miss out on 2 and they burn leads. Okay, so the message that you'll be crafting should have depth in it. When I mean depth, deep enough to like make them think on a psychological level. Okay, so and that also with someone who's like a core lead who's skeptical and they're still ready to get on calls. Can you give an example of such message? We would be, covering on the next ones. By the way, Nicholas, I've never seen you. If you don't mind, you can, whatever, like turn on your camera. I've never seen you in yesterday. Anyway, but yeah, to answer your question, we would be covering that on the upcoming messages, okay? But I just had to let you know that most of the appointment setters, they just read things on a surface level. They don't even go till here. Even if they go till here, they're so heavily reliant on script that the message that they type looks fake. It's just that, this another scripted message. So now the question comes is, okay, to actually, make sure we're typing messages that covers on all these three levels, how do you frame your message? That's where a framework of a message would come in. Okay. So now you know that, okay, I no longer have to see surface level questions. I need to trigger all this, but how am I going to do it? You know that you have to do this, but the question comes is how, and that's where you follow a framework. Now, do you see on how we transition from having the right rules towards like implementing towards a framework now? On how to actually, converse with these leads. Okay, Nicholas, we'll be covering, on the upcoming conversation, so you'll have better clarity. Yeah, everyone is with me so far because now we'll be diving a bit deeper. Okay. So everywhere you would see that I put 3 and there's a reason. It's because it's much more easier to remember, and you guys can go read the power of 3. So it's going to be, you'll be able to make sense. But for now, the 3 rules are, this is clear. It was simple to understand. You start with your mindset. If your mindset is like that, everything is interlinked. Only if you operate with this mindset, you'll be able to listen to them properly. If you're not in this mindset, if your mindset itself is wrong, you can't even come to this. So everything is interlinked. It's not that you'll abide by the rule 1 and you'd leave this. If you leave that, then you can't even, operate properly. You wouldn't be able to know how to craft your messages. So let's talk about these frameworks on how to think and craft your messages. I'll be taking a live example for each. So here it says, best desired outcome framework for drafting messages. Let's talk about best desired outcome. I'll just ask a few. Gabriel, what's your best desired outcome with appointment setting right now? Like, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for a company that I can see myself working on a long term and be able to be making 4,000 to 6,000 USD a month.
Okay. And which company specifically?
I don't have. I have some companies in mind. Actually, I don't have one specifically. I just see that as a way, as a minded company that I understand somewhere that I can see myself grow.
Okay.
And also see myself working on long term,
Mhm.
and that I'm not micromanaged, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. I think with company we got niche down to, like, I'm not specifying like a company. Let's talk about the niche. If you were
Okay.
setting, which niche would it be?
Awesome. So in terms of niches, I believe lead generation, somewhere that I feel very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And also BizUp as well. I believe those two are the main ones that I'm very comfortable with.
All right. And the reason why you're comfortable is that because you ran an agency in the past which dealt with the similar background, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So your best desired outcome for appointment setting would be you setting for lead generation agencies because you understand that market pretty well,
Yeah.
right? So your best desired outcome, it's like, hey, your next client is going to be someone who is like a marketing company who does lead generation, and they're looking for an appointment setter, and you'd be setting. That becomes a best desired outcome for you because not only you want to make money with appointment setting, but also that's the, okay.
Correct.
Now, so that's called as going deeper. Now I'll show you with real conversation on how that's done. Okay. And again, for the people who are still skeptical about outbound doesn't work, it's only works if it's done the right way. So here, hey Pablo, I just wanted to jump in and say thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Curious, are you also interested in learning more about how YouTube automation works so you could generate consistent passive income with it? As my content attracts audience of similar interest. He says, hey, yes, I do appreciate the reciprocal. And if you see here, I'm saying, I'm always acknowledging what he's saying. Like ask. So here is ask, feel, show. Now let me just cover things simultaneously, because it's not that you're following one framework at a time. Everything will be done simultaneously. Okay. So when you follow a framework, everything is happening at once. So you would see I'm doing ask, feel, show. Okay. So if you see what's ask, feel, show, I'm asking a question. I'm also giving a context basically as my content attracts similar interest. So feel is basically acknowledge however you felt about the message. So you're acknowledging whatever they told. If I just didn't say great to be connected, it sounds more robotic. It's like, hey Pablo, so are you familiar? See the difference between that versus hey, great to be connected, because he told my appreciation, and even I like that message here. That's more human. All the small things matter. Okay. And I just asked him, so are you familiar with the concept of how YouTube automation works, or something you'd like to have more clarity on? Basically, this voice message told he doesn't have clarity. And again, you see, I've asked, feel, no worries, let me give you a quick overview. So at every message, I'm following the framework. It's not that only one. Okay. And I show him what YouTube automation is all about. And I ask again. So it's ask, we'll show. It's a loop. It keeps on going on as long as the qualification is going on. Is that something you're interested in? Again, I end with a question. He didn't respond, so I follow up. Simple follow up. Name question mark. This is actually very effective. And here he says, understood, nice. How do I do it? Okay. Now you see, I did go about explaining in detail on how he would be doing it. I again showed him, like, ask, feel, show. I'll be helping you with the process, and also will be sending a free training across. On a surface level, I acknowledged it. Okay. Initially, you would have to dedicate 1 to 2 hours a day. I'm doing a time qualification. That's again ask. So I'm ending with a question. And he says, okay, perfect. Now the next thing, great, that's good enough to get started with. Again, I'm acknowledging it. And then I'm moving on to another qualification question on what really made him consider to start his own YouTube automation channel. And this is where it gets interesting. And this is where you'll see on how to go about using this framework here. Okay. Best desired outcome. You'll be leveraging it to its fullest so you can book this lead, right? So let's see what he has told. I sell real estate. I also execute constructions, real estate development buildings. I'm interested in making courses about invest and execute real estate investment in South Brazil. My product is for direct people and people who want to make construction investment safely. My intention is to use whatever the abbreviation is used, and real estate development, entrepreneurship, conjunction. Okay. So he's told all this. He's also told we have some players, but not focused on technical and commercial real estate. But now he's just giving all the information. Now, if there would be a normal rookie setter, they would just told, great, and then they would move on with the script. This is what they would exactly do here. They'll just read this message here. Okay. They see, okay, he's told something. What do I say? Okay, let me just acknowledge because Jatin has told me, do the ask field show. I'll do the ask field show. And then I'll move on to the scripts because I have the scripts. And then you lose the lead. That's the way you're going to burn lead. Instead, what you should be doing is, okay, this is what he's doing. So you're going to read it on, okay, what is he telling at a surface level, psychological level, or is there even a way my product can actually help him? Okay. So once you start thinking in this way and you start applying this framework, use your brains and understand your client's offer, this is the quality of messages that you'll be able to frame. So I told like, hey, Pablo, sorry, missed out on our previous messages. As I get, conversation, as I get a lot of DMs. Just pay attention to every line I'm writing because everything follows a framework. I'll be explaining you in a moment. I just got a better clarity on your company and what is that you do. I'm acknowledging you. Ask, feel like I completely get it, so they feel heard. There is essentially two ways we could go about this. Just helping you grow your, okay, you should clearly understand here. He is taking someone's name of Grant Cardone in the US. How many people know? I'm pretty sure if here 90% of your people know who Grant Cardone is because of the way he's marketing himself. Okay, so most of us know. Okay, so here you have to think about on his emotional level also in that circle. You can visualize. Okay, and now I'm going to enter on the psychological level. I'm going to connect with my product here. So I'm going to say like, hey Pablo, sorry missed out on your so all this. Just by helping you grow your company personal brand on YouTube through growth strategies and targeted just to land clients. But here the growth will be essentially a bit slower. Or the second option is to start a YouTube automation channel in a specific niche where the growth is faster. In his case, it's going to be real estate. Once you have gained audience and that's specific, you can promote your company and services. Okay. Does that give you a better clarity? And I also asked him, which one would you prefer? I mean, I didn't even ask him. He told I would prefer the second one. You just positioned your client offer, that's YouTube automation, with all the data sets he had given on the conversation here. You picked, okay, this guy wants to sell his courses, fine. He wants to sell his company and get more clients because he's been mentioning that making courses about invest and also he wants to grow his company. So all these data points can only be picked on a deeper level if you follow this framework of to see where is this guy coming from. And once you do this, you'll be able to draft more sharper messages like this. And where he told he wants to go for the second one, where he wants to go with YouTube automation in the real estate niche. And then he just went and booked a call as well. And this was from outbound. So how was this conversation? Like, did I go too fast, or were you able to see on how everything is connected to each other from what I'm starting from the first point? Like, are you able to understand when I mean depth of a message, what it should look like?
It
Yeah.
was amazing. It was amazing. It was very detailed. And I have got two questions over here.
Mm-hmm.
First one is what to do if we send the first message
Mm-hmm.
and they don't respond to it. Should we do a specific type of follow-up, or after how many days we do it for outbound? Like some
So
people, they just see the message and they just forget to reply, or maybe
yeah,
just
usually
ignored
with
it.
outbounds, the VA does the outbound, and
Yeah.
following up as well. With outbound, mostly it's maximum at like 2 follow-ups, nothing more than that. Okay. The goal of the outbound is yes to get the interested ones, and also so your story starts popping up on the feed because the engagement on the DMs is going on. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
And second thing that I noticed from the chat is that we first build the interest, right? We first like let them know about why we are reaching out, what we are doing, and how it will help them, and then understanding about their situation, like why they wanna do this type of like service or start their business. So it's
Correct.
not like not asking them upfront that why they want to start with it.
Yeah, because that's a scripted message. That's why you have to understand the
Yeah,
present situation better. And that's a good point that you brought up, because the only person who's going to bring up why you want to start is the person who's just trying to see, oh, which script I should use so he can get a booked call. If I'm more
yeah,
interested in understanding his business, I'll be able to link, okay, this is my client's offer. How can I do this? Now, if you just go back, like I'll share my screen again. Do you see here? I have also mentioned every message you draft should hold credibility, authority, and social proof. The way you're even explaining things, that shows your authority and social proof. The social proof, even his stories would be doing, your client stories, as they'll be posting testimonials. Credibility and authority. If you see here, what have I mentioned? I just, sorry, missed out on a previous conversation, as I get a lot of DMs. It's to show that, like, hey, I am busy. It's not like, I have all the time for you. You get it?
yeah, yeah,
And also, how this all, if someone can draft this messages, the only way to draft this messages is by doing this. Okay. So every point that I mentioned on this doc holds a lot of weightage because everything is interlinked to one. Fully understanding your client's offer and positioning it on the DMs is critical. This helps you tailor your conversations to ensure the prospect is matched with the best offer for their needs. Okay. So yeah. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Does anyone have other questions?
I just wanted to ask, so with this particular prospect, we did not disclose the amount till the end, even before the call got confirmed, right? So the prospect did not know what the money scheme is once that person get on the call.
So if you go to rule number 3, never reveal the price until the value is delivered. Okay. And here, the call is to show them the value and how this can actually change their business, change their life, on what kind of problems we would. So the application questions, the calendar will do the basic financial qualification. Okay, because once we send him the calendar link, it would have questions to financially qualify them. But the conversation for the appointment is for them to make them feel, I need to get on a call with this person, which brings to this entire conversation was done on this frame. So you see, if we operate from that mindset, you'll be able to get them on the call. Like he itself went and booked from outbound that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I just wanted to the follow-up question was that what if all of this is done and later in the call we get to know that the person was not in the position to pay for some, or maybe they were just not ready to come up with such a big amount. That's why I was asking. At which, but then I realized you already asked them to fill a questionnaire, so it should be fine.
Yeah, that's right. If they're not like, yeah, we also do the downselling there. So yeah, cool. So that one conversation alone, did that explain everything? Credibility, authority, proof. Every time you're asking qualifying question, ask, feel, show. That thing possibly covered every single thing that I've listed down here. Okay. Any questions so far before we move ahead?
Yeah, I just have a question with the thing of the money, because at least on my end, I've never like revealed the price on appointment setting. Like at the very least, well, actually, if they keep asking about the price, or it's something like for me to qualify them financially, I just give them a range, but
Correct.
we should give the price.
Yeah. So I'm just going to show you guys something here. Because we have, yeah, it's here. I'm just trying to find. Basically, you have like a response that you can use for each stage of the conversation. If they ask objection handling in the middle, where they talk about, hey, what's the cost? I'll just find that and send that over to you guys. We do have like templated response, but that would come on the later part of the calls or the trainings where I'll be showing you for the objection handling. Right now, we're just doing like the overview of conversations. Okay. Yeah. Tony, that doesn't answer your question. I'll be providing you templates on how to handle the price of objections on the DMs if they're like too keen on getting to know the price.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, cool. Now let's move on to this, and by far this is the most important, like the most important thing. And I feel that if you don't have this 20 non-negotiables before you get started, it would be a huge mess in the inbox. The efforts you're going to put in appointment setting wouldn't be fruitful because these things are not there. So that's why I put like a checklist to make sure everything is aligned. So I've divided this into 4 categories. Once you onboard a client, what are the things that you need to have with them? When you are on their DMs, what is the toolkit you need to have with you? After you have ended your shift, what is the tools that you need to have access to? And coordination with closers and setters, because these are the people who will be closing your deals, and if there's no coordination with them, all the efforts that you put on the DMs, it goes for a toss. Okay, let's go with all the pointers one by one. Once you onboard a client, make sure you've gone through the sales page. This comes down to the point we discussed where you understand the sales offering better. Okay, you've gone to their sales page, you have gone through their VSLs, you've gone through like their educational content on YouTube or any resource. Because if you can educate the prospect on the DMs, that's the way you're going to add value and show the possibilities. Okay, appointment setting just doesn't stop at you following scripts and using all like tactical work. Once you know your client's offer well, you'll be able to like frame those conversations, right? And you see that happening on this previous conversation. Gone through their lead nurturing material. Okay, because most of the questions that your prospect asked would be covered in the lead nurturing material that you'll be sending to the prospect, okay, after they're booked a call. So make sure you've gone through the lead nurturing material. You must understand your client's funnel, because if a lead is coming, is he coming from an ebook he read? Is he coming from a cold traffic? Or are there ads funnels running? Are there shout outs running? What are the different funnels that's running? Okay. And regardless, shout out leads or what, this is like a non-negotiable regardless you work with AOS clients or anywhere you go. Okay. So this is super important. So understanding a client's funnel. Do you understand their offers well? Or do you think might be they're having a downsell course where you could be, just doing you can do the DM closing and earn commissions through that, but you're missing out on that opportunity. Okay. Or is there a higher ticket program where you can find leads so you can have a conversation with an experienced lead for a higher ticket program? So all this you need to be thinking. Okay. So you need to know what your client offer is. Do you have access to their Instagram? Because this goes without saying. Do you have access to their MetaSuite or ManyChat? This is to track conversations and all. Have do you have all the important links, like to for booking calls? Do you have the Calendly? Do you have the free resources? You have their ebook and something like that? Basically, I'm going to put here ebook, free trainings, etc. Everything related to that offer, because these resources you'll be using to nurture leads on the DMs. Okay. I'll be covering further conversations if we get time. Example, we would be doing something like if a lead is let's say it's a lead for e-com offer and your client has a video doing on how to do the product research. And if your prospect is struggling with product research, you can send them that video that will warm them up on the DMs, that will increase the chances of appointment setting. And that will only happen if you have access to the resources. If you itself don't know, you're not going to even send it to the prospect in the first place. And that's going to hurt your conversion at the end of the day. Craft your appointment setting scripts, objection handling, and FAQ document that's verified by your clients. I think I'll just show you guys right away instead of keeping it for later. So I'll be sending this. You guys have to like customize it accordingly. So how much does it cost? What's the code fee? In the start of the conversation, what your response would look like. If they ask you in the middle of the conversation, what your response would look like. Is there a cost of mentorship, or is this mentorship paid, or is this something I have to pay for? All these are templated messages, and you can use this, right? So if they're struggling with niche, if they're asking is that niche good, how do you respond to that? If they're still trying out to figure out their niche market. So if you see, these are technical questions about their offer. What's the upfront cost involved in video cost if it's YouTube automation offer? If you have all this detailed response, it's going to save so much of your time. And all this should be vetted by clients. So that's what I'm saying. Should be verified by your clients. You shouldn't be saying something that's not aligned with their offer or their brand. Otherwise, you'd put the prospect and your client in trouble. Okay. So, and do you have access to the content team? Okay, this is super important. Like, can't stress on this enough, because if you don't have access to the content team to provide active feedback on, hey, engagement on this post is less, or on this post is more, let's double down on that. Ultimately, it's going to help you book more calls because you'll be getting the lead flow. Okay, so every client that you'll be working with, make sure you have access to the content team. In our case with AOS, you'd be having access to the content team. You're going to be a primary responsibility to communicate with them on a daily basis on how there's going to be a performance of the post. Okay, so always be in touch with the content team, because they are your key drivers for you to get more inbound leads. Do you have access to your traffic partner who's responsible to send consistent quality traffic? And there's always active feedback loop. With shoutouts, you'd have to be in touch with the shoutouts traffic team on, hey, the shoutouts are performing great. Let's double down on those pages, increase the ad spend, something like that. That will give you more inbound leads, so you can be earning more commissions as well. But if you don't have access to your content provider and your regular commission, what do you call that, communication with your traffic provider, then your inbox would be left empty with no leads. So to avoid that, you should be having access to all these people, and that's why this is like your toolkit checklist. It's like, hey, do I have this, 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 this? Then okay, let's move on to the next part. Any questions so far with the client onboarding thing that I've just covered here? All right. Now, the next thing comes is, while you are on the DMs, your mindset is something, basically have this doc by your side that will solve most of your problems. The mindset, always see your reference point. Okay, what does this mindset look like? What mindset am I being desperate to book a call, or am I here to help this lead unpack their pain points and show this is an ideal opportunity for you? Conversations, rule, framework, and hacks. That's why I made it 3 key pointers, so it's very easy to remember. And that's why I made even a diagram, so you can, even if you don't have the doc, you can visualize this diagram and see, okay, this is my message of the prospect. If I'm going to send him back a message, have I analyzed this on all levels, and is my message also strong enough? Okay, and access to tag on ManyChat, Metasuite, or GHL. Basically, when a lot of leads increase, the problems you guys will face is you'll be missing out on leads. Example, you need to be tracking everything, because at the end of the day, you'll be able to make better decisions through data. So make sure you have access to, the tags are set up on the account. If I had to take a look on this account, let's go to tags. So here it would say like future follow-up training link clicked questions inbound from DM. So basically these needs to be set up. Each client would have their own specific CRM, or let's say here it's ManyChat. Most likely it's going to be ManyChat because it's more friendly to use. But the tags have to be set up. Access to Slack channel for booked calls to see what type of leads you're booking in. Okay. So Sheetal, this is kind of comes back to the question that you asked. It's like if you're booking leads, how are you going to determine the quality? So you should be having access to the Slack channel like this. Let me just show you. It says DM setters bookings, and every one of you, like all the clients that you work with, even if they don't have setup, go to this tool, this toolkit I'm sharing with you, and talk to your client. Hey, this is not set up. Let's do it. Okay. So that way, every time you're booking in lead, you'll be able to know like, okay, are they from the US? What's their details and all that. Okay. So that's super important, and you'll be able to see the applications questions also. If they're filling out applications, what are the questions they're filling out that will determine, okay, let's cancel this lead or let this lead stay on the calendar. Access to Calendly for timely reminders for leads. This is so important because let's say if you're put in all the efforts to book in that lead and the lead has forgot to show up on the call because of a lack of reminder, okay, you just like lost the momentum because that lead is excited, wants to do, and you just haven't sent a reminder. That will spoil the momentum. But to send the reminder, you should send it timely, 24 and 12 hours. And to do that, you need to have access to the calendars. Okay. And I believe everyone is already familiar with, using Google Calendars, where your client can add you, invite you to be part of the calendar where you can see the events. After you have ended a shift, access to daily tracker to fill out reports, access to CRM or Google Sheets to update all the proposed and booked calls. I'll be covering on the daily SOP here in a while. Okay, so basically, this is what an ideal sheet would look like. Let me just pull it out here. Okay, let's take this example. You see, this setters propose plus book calls. Every time you propose a call, some accounts might have multiple setters. Make sure you have this template. We'll be providing you this, okay? But your goal is to always go put their name, whom you proposed call for, their IG URL link, and what's the booking status? Are they yet to book? Have they booked the call? Have they denied the call, canceled the call? Are they no longer interested? You know how it works. Let's say, and how many times follow-ups? After 7 time follow-ups, it's red, like you should be following up with them, right? And let's say they have booked a call. Are they financially qualified based on the application they filled? Yes. Okay. And what's the status? Were they no show for the call? Have they closed on mentorship? Have they closed on course? Are they in decision making process? So you could be doing the active follow up. So all this, the templates would be given to you. But what's more important, templates wouldn't make sense if you aren't filling them out. So it's going to be a part of your daily SOP process to actually have access to the sheets and then even fill them out. But first thing, you have to make sure you have access to the sheets. Okay. You'll be having access to, I'll be showing you in a while. Example, this Google form after end of a shift, you'll be filling out all the details. How much time was spent, the number of outbound sent, the number of outbound reply, number of inbound, and how many of this inbound leads were quality. The more precise this data is, they'll be able to we'll all together will be able to make a calculated decision. Is the traffic poor? Are the setters doing a bad job or a good job? Are the closers doing a good job or a bad job? All would be data driven. So you no longer have to think ads are not working, it's a setting problem. So this would solve all the issues once you have the data in place, okay? And access to CRM or Google Sheets. Okay, this one I covered. Okay, this is more important. Coordination with closers or setters. Access to setter and closer Slack channel to send and receive updates. Okay, so this is what it would ideally look like. So let's go here. Okay, here you'd see DM setters and sales team. It's important for, here the setter sends the conversation because they're booked in a lead, and then we are having a conversation with the closer on what's the situation. These are so important. If the setter is able to give the closer a really good context on how his upcoming call is going to be and send the screenshot, it will increase closing percentage, and it's a big win-win for the team as well, because if you provide the closer with more context, he'll be able to tailor his conversation accordingly. He's well prepared. But if you keep the closer in blind and not give him enough data, then he's not then he wouldn't be able to do then he can't do a good job also. So hence you need to have access to closers and set a Slack channel to receive and also send updates. And it becomes an equal responsibility of the closer to send like, hey, your booked call was a no-show. Please do follow up to get him rescheduled. All these are important. Okay, so it's a teamwork here. If any one of you guys the closer doesn't perform well with giving you updates, then you should hold them accountable. And the same, it's a vice versa thing. Access to CRM or sheets where you'll be able to see each stage where the lead is. If the closer is speaking to them, which stage they're at, are there decision making process and all that. Make sure you have access to these sheets as well. And each client would have their own CRM. Some might have Go High Level, some might have HubSpot, Close, like all different things. We covered a lot. Let me know if you have any questions before we move on to the final SOP.
I believe everything is quite clear. The spreadsheets that you showed, you're going to share them or?
Yeah, so whenever you're onboarded to a client, you'd be getting access to the spreadsheets for that specific client.
Okay.
Right? Because everywhere the data is a mess. Like,
Yeah.
you'll be working as a team with so many people. Everyone has their personal life going on as well. And filling out sheets is the most boring work, but yet the most important task to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
That becomes most crucial. And that's why we send out forms on a daily basis so no one misses it out. So there's an equal accountability across, all the growth departments.
Right.
Yeah. Anna, Yumna, Tony,
I
Naman.
just wanted to ask one thing that once we are onboarded, we will have to create a whole chat document, like how the chat will, the flow of it. Like how will we create that document?
So,
Because I understand that some scripts will be provided.
mhm.
Then what would be our input in that?
So you're saying the scripts are provided and what's your input in that?
Yeah, I mean, do we have to create some chats and get them approved by the client as well, as you mentioned about getting them approved from the client
Of course you need,
first?
because you see here,
Okay.
like, there's something known. Do you see I've mentioned texting lingo? What if your questions don't even match the way the client sound, right? So all
Yeah.
these are important. So every script that you'd be generating would be following this framework, okay? And based on this framework,
Mm.
uh, you'd be sending the client their questions, okay? Framework
Okay.
remains the same, offer changes. According to offer, the script changes a bit. But again, like
Right.
I mentioned, don't be so reliant on script and becoming this person. You have to be this. And to do this, you have to understand all this, personalizing the conversations.
Right.
Okay, cool. Does anyone have any other questions before I move on to the daily SOP? No, right? Cool. So we're almost reached the end. I did want to do the conversation in depth review. I think I'll I will be moving ahead with it. I had another call, but if you have enough time, let's just do it. But let's just go through this daily SOPs, and this remains standard for every single one of you. So again, this is divided into 3 phases. So, and exactly allocated with minutes, so you guys don't feel lost. One of the most, since you'll be dealing with so many leads, a lot of you might get overwhelmed by which ones to even prioritize first. Like there's so much things going on. Like what do I even do in the first place? So your first 10 to 15 minutes, send call reminders, making sure they have gone through the lead nurturing materials. Check your client's calendar and see the call scheduled for the day and the next day, and sending them timely reminders. Okay. So this is doing the highest leveraging activity, which means yesterday you have booked a call, they've scheduled. To make sure this doesn't go for waste, just take 10 to 15 minutes of your shift, sending messages to the leads, reminders, and also lead nurturing materials so they come warmed up to the closer's call. That's your first phase, which will hardly take 10 to 15 minutes. How are you going to do it? You're simply going to come on the calendar. If there are events linked here, you'll be saying, okay, on this specific days, these are the events, and you'll be moving forward accordingly. Phase 2, this is like your entire shift, right? And you'd be going across this, let's say A and B. First thing, clearing the inbox. Respond to all leads that are active. And steps I've mentioned here are by priority. If you see on the hack section, the most, how do I say, the faster your response rate is, the ability to book the lead will be much higher. So that's why in your daily workflow, respond to the leads that are always active on the inbox. Let's say after that, check all the inbound leads from comments are responded, because what we have seen is a lot of people get comments somewhere. If the automation is not triggered, the comments are left. So that's like you're losing out on your opportunity. So make sure you go to the notification section and see all the comments are covered. Follow up with the ones whom you have proposed calls. Okay, so you come to a sheet like this, you see, okay, where and all have proposed calls and they haven't booked. You can just click on filter. Okay, booking status, show me all the leads who just haven't booked a call. You'll be able to see all this: yet to book, call proposed, and you can easily follow up with them. Okay, as simple as that. So follow up with all the ones whom your proposed calls, entering numbers on the sheet on how many inbounds you're conversing with. When it comes to follow-ups, there's a structure to follow even in follow-ups. You'd be prioritizing your hot leads that's ghosted or left you on or haven't opened your message, because these hot leads are the ones who are more likely to buy the program. So if you're going to do follow-ups, do it in a structured way. It's like, okay, my follow-up time is on. Let me cover all my hot leads first, and then let me move on to the leads in general who are not that quite hot, but not also like cold. They're just interested. And you'd be tagging leads simultaneously, like, have you proposed calls to them? Have you sent them the booking link? Is it a call booked? Or are you nurturing the lead? All this would be taking place simultaneously. So that's why this is during your entire shift. Okay. So this is the workflow you'll be following. Phase 3, this is also like the most important one. You have to make sure there are no slip throughs. So if you have an Instagram professional account, you'll have this filter option. If you click on the filter option, you'd get these 3 options: flagged, unanswered, unread. Always go on unanswered or unread and see for the past 30 days how many people you have not responded to, or for the past 24 hours. And always make sure you clear the inbox. That's why in the last 30 minutes you do it, and you fill out, you also make sure all the no-show calls scheduled for that day, you send a follow-up message to reschedule them. If you don't do this, the leads whom you have booked earlier and they're no-showed, there's still a chance, but you're going to miss out on the opportunity to book them again. Third one, update the tracking sheets. You just have to fill out this form, and everything would be recorded on a tracker, and it will be reflecting on dashboard. Example for Saturday one, during the shift, how many, all the data would be here. Okay. So that's with the SOPs. Any questions on the SOP? It was a lot of technical questions, so I just had to scheme through it really fast.
One question. like rather than sending the link, no, can we ask them like what time are you available so that we can like book you, and then asking for the email ID, because when we send the link, they don't see, many times they don't even book. So if we ask them for a particular time, like at what time zone are you, like in what time zone are you available, and then we book.
So two things there. Uh, I actually had kept it for the next call where there's a way of booking a lead right then and there, like pinning them down, saying like, it'll just take you 60 seconds. If you come to Nizar's training program, you'll already know it, on how to do it. The reason why I don't suggest, because one, there's a resistance of converting in the time zone. It's going to increase the manual work for the setter because you have to go create manually. You have to collect their emails manually, so it's increasing your workload. The only time you would do it is if they see there's no spots available on the calendar, but the closer can show up on a specific time. That's the time you can create a manual link. And even you can't qualify them if you're doing manually. Like let's say the Calendly application will can qualify them financially also. So there are a lot of cons rather than pros if you're going to do it manually, so that's why we stick to a calendar link.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys have any questions on the SOP, guys? All right, so okay, yeah, about 10-20 minutes left. We'll be diving deep into the conversations because from tomorrow we'll be starting role plays. Okay, so we are possibly covered everything, right? That's important. So it gives no reason why not to perform well on role plays, implementing all the strategies that we have discussed. Okay, so from tomorrow starts the day where you'll actually be executing on your skill set on how your conversations move forward. Okay, but yeah, let's review some conversation, and now we'll be seeing in real time on how these conversations where have those rules missing, have those principles missing, have those the surface level, emotional level, psychological level, all those missing, right? So let's cover them one by one. Let me just close all the tabs here. Okay. So context, okay. So basically this specific client is selling an e-com offer, and they help you start your own brand building business. If you have any products to sell online, they help you build a Shopify store, help you learn ads and all that product research. So this was an outbound message. Hey Lindsay, just wanted to drop in. Thank you for the follow. What's your interest in ecom? Would love to help you out. Okay. She just says yes. After that, I'm trying to set up my store. I have been hesitant since my current business was way too busy. October it will slow down a bit. I want to narrow down my products and set up Shopify. Being busy is good. That's where ecom is perfect, since you only need a couple of hours a day to get going. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you guys, how is your response going to be different here? I'll in fact show you in the next.
I would ask what the business is about. More making a rapport around what are you exactly doing? Current business, what exactly is the current business?
Okay, that's a good point. What about others? T, Nicholas, JB, Anna, you guys can engage as well. Nicole, Tony, like how would you make it better?
Jatin, can you show me the last message, please?
This one?
No, the previous one on the first slide.
The first one was just a outbound.
I would ask like to elaborate more about like her business, to like get her to open up a little, to know a little bit more about her business, and what is like why it's so busy or why it's bad for her.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyone? Last one more because I know we are running short on time, but yeah. Anyone has got last thing to add?
Maybe to dig deeper into the e-com store that she's wanted to basically to start, like why she's wanted to start a e-com store.
Got it. Here.
Yeah, maybe to ask her why she
I've
reached out or what is the context.
We are reaching out.
also,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I would like to ask that what's happening in her current business, like what is going on over there,
Yeah.
and what's her goals for starting this?
Correct.
What's the purpose of moving there?
Okay. That's nice. I agree with everyone's point. I'm just going to run through the entire conversation and then we'll get in deeper. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go through the full conversation and see where and all improvements can be made. So this one, the setter mentions this, and he says, curious to know what's your end goal would what wait curious to know what your end goal would look like for your store, automated and profitable, so I can focus on my children. Okay, that's a great goal. I've had several members being able to automate their shops to able to spend more time with their family and loved ones. So I think that their potential could be possibility of us to help you. What do you think? Question mark. Okay, what are you offering? I have contacted other e-com companies who are setting up or helping set up. What exactly are you offering? Of course, it's my mentorship program specifically tailored to your needs. So what I would be getting is dependent on what you actually need. Okay, what you would be getting is dependent upon what you actually need, but you'd be getting access to my entire framework, help you with logistics, personal business contacts, live, basically giving on features. However, this isn't for everyone as we only work with selected members. Mentorship is tailored for individual needs. So what do you say? Okay, so what would you say would make you a great fit for the community and say how much is it? So how are you guys seeing this conversation on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate this?
I think like a 2 because it's like 2, it's way too salesy. It's like like there is zero empathy in the conversation.
Yeah,
Like I would ask about her goal, like what do you mean with like how much would you like to earn? Like get her to elaborate like fully on the goal. You know what I mean? Like what exactly? Because that's so like it's way too surface level.
that's right.
But the
One more
relating, the
thing,
only
like
thing good about the conversation, I feel like, is that the sets are related, and that's about it.
The setter related.
Yeah, with like, oh, we have like a lot of clients that have family, children, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like a one positive thing. And let me tell you, this conversation, okay, gets in this where you would need industry knowledge as well. And to see, you need to start analyzing from this framework. Right now, it sounds easy because I've showed you this diagram, but for most of the setters, like they don't know. They just operate from see the answer or see the question answers from this level. Now that you guys know this, you'll be having awareness from where you're texting. Are they hitting all the points? Okay. So let's take a look at the first thing itself here. Being busy is good. That's kind of contradicting. I mean, that's a very surface level acknowledgement. It's just for the sake of acknowledgement he has done because if you see, she's talking about her pain points on, focus on my children. And that being busy is good since it was done on a surface level because the setter just had to see some script and acknowledge, just had to do ask, field, show. He missed out on the rest of this thing, right? And that's why a surface level acknowledgement comes. Okay, and this is a mistake that I would see like many sellers do. You guys would be doing too because it's like inevitable. But the only thing is to get better again and again. Okay, after like more reps. And then he says, "What's the?" That's where ecom. Now he's already started being pushy on the offer, right? She's already made the decision that she wants to do Shopify. The fact that she's saying Shopify, it knows that she's done a research that okay, in e-commerce there's something known as Shopify. In Shopify, she's ready to list her product. Even she's using setup Shopify. The only way you'd have the depth of this conversation is if you would listen. Okay. So read again. So here she's providing data sets of, she already knows, narrow down my products, which means she also knows there are multiple products she can sell. She's specifying to a niche. Now, if this setter would have actually paid attention to all these minute details of the conversation, it could go more detail. It's like, cool, have you tried other products? Because you did mention narrow down your products. Curious, what do you mean? That becomes a more natural conversation. Okay. So right from the first place. But the other way, it's also to, leverage the other data points she has given. It will slow down a bit. Okay. Now you have to think your next few steps ahead. I would also ask, hey, you know, first I would appreciate, hey, it's like, I would frame something like this. If I had to genuinely acknowledge being present in the conversation, I'd say like, hey, Lindsay, really glad that you're, taking sensible steps to diversify your cash flow. And from what you said, seems like you're more into seasonal businesses also. Curious, what is that you do? It's so natural. She'll tell, okay, this same data I can leverage. Okay, if her seasonal business, can I leverage it to make it online also? Then I can relate to my offer. Okay, so that would come with, depth. But here you see everything was done on a surface level. And even once she starts giving, the conversations becomes more easier. Okay. Anyway, whatever happened. Let's go to the next to see wherever the other mistakes have been repeated. Curious to know what's your end goal. This is a scripted thing. Like you're directly going to goals without even understanding their, the current situation on what even made them, start. Automated and profitable. So I can focus on my children. Now this is if there's awareness of a product, and this lead, if you know your industry well, you can completely understand this person has done all kind of research in the industry because she's looking for an automated store, which means she's already gone to other people, and that's where she also starts mentioning, I have other econ companies. She already started to hint here. She's inquiring, but here it's just being salesy. Okay. And that's a great goal. We have had several members being able to automate their shops. Okay. Now to this setter, I asked, hey, does your client offer done for you service? And he was like, yeah, he does. And then it would make so much sense to type a message saying like, we do help you with, helping you pick the right winning products based on the niche selection, and also helping you setting up a high conversion store. That's exactly the desired outcome they're looking for. And he would be able to frame this message only if he had understanding on offering where he could do this, right? Helps you tailor your conversation to and they're being matched. Okay. Because Nicholas is your name. I forgot, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nicholas, do you see on how you told it is good, but it could have been better if the conversation would have been tailored?
Yeah, for sure, because this is just like the script.
Exactly.
By the way, I have like a quick question. Like, let's say right after the explanation, because you had this document and I really would like it. If you could post it in the WhatsApp, I would really appreciate it. Let's say, hypothetically, right? You do the explanation to make the guy warm, and the guy doesn't reply. You follow up with him, and he's like, "Yeah, that sounds good, but like, how much like is what your like your course basically?" So do you go in like instantly with like the full objection handle, like, "Hey, um
Yeah.
depends, we
Yeah.
don't work with
I got your
everyone,
question.
blah, blah, blah."
Yeah. So your question is how much does it cost? People might ask at the start of the conversation and middle, or after when the call is proposed, because they're going to see like the finances option on the calendar. So since we just have like 5 minutes left, I'll be going through this on the future training calls. But just to
Okay.
let you know, you would come back to the rule 3 where never reveal the price until value is delivered. Okay?
Gotcha. So I just say like,
Yeah, I'll be helping you with the
I guess
customer
Nizar just say depends and ask next question.
Exactly, you should be doing that. But out there are scripts or templates that you can follow. It's just that I don't want to go over this call because we just have another next like 5 minutes left. Okay, but on the
Yeah.
upcoming calls, we'll be going deeper into objection handling. Okay,
Okay.
so let's talk about the next one here. So from here, he just started to push the mentorship. Okay, the pain points were not covered, and the research on just asking, I've contacted other e-com companies who were setting up or helping set up. What exactly are you offering? Okay. If I had asked the previous questions in terms of we help you with, narrowing down products, like getting to know her business well and creating the integration here with your business, if extended version of niche, you already have the industry knowledge, this would be a good fit. She would have subconsciously made a decision that I want to work with this guy. Okay. Since that was not done, it leads to this stage where it's like, what are you offering? So basically, surface level answers and questions leads to surface level answers and questions even from the prospect end. Yeah, what goes around comes around, something like that, right? But you get it? If it was done here, it would have moved to a call. Yeah. We'll be breaking down because here's where, let's say, the conversation got messed up, and eventually some lead who was, I'm just going to show you the end part. You see, I don't have the time until my current business crunch time is over. I will have to do. She's saying she wants to do later. This was on 27th of September. She has the time to start on 16th of October. So the setter even like didn't do a good job with creating the urgency on why we have to start now, so you can capitalize in the upcoming ones. So the lead who was completely hot in she wants to get started went to like, you know what, you're just too salesy. I don't have the time. So the conversation went down to we'll be doing in detail conversation breakdown tomorrow, or else I'll be making this PDF because these are like really good stuff for you guys to review so you guys don't make these mistakes while you have on the client, right? It ended up being, I'll think about it. Thanks for the information. Not even a call. Whereas still the set is chasing. Completely lost frame, completely lost control, didn't build urgency, didn't show empathy. Are we making a list of something known as, wait, where did it go? Like do's and don'ts of setting. Okay, I'll just add it here. So you guys have a checklist, just like you guys had a checklist for this, right? You'll have a do's and don'ts checklist for the setting as well. Okay. So just have 2 minutes. A couple of you guys. Tony? What was your key takeaway from this call?
Key takeaway for me it was like basically understand the prospect situation to see what they're looking for, and yeah, not to go like not to be so salesy and not go and chase the prospect basically.
Yeah, and that's nice. And I'd be sending like more conversation. This was just one. We have like dozens of conversations to review where you can learn a lot from each. Each of them have their own unique mistakes that can be improved. And yeah, and this is the thing, guys, like mistakes would happen, but it's all about, not getting better step by step. Okay. So, Anna, what was your key takeaway from this entire call, not just the conversation?
Yeah, well, I would like to say about what we were just watching the conversations. Like, I still feel very insecure sometimes, and it was really helpful the way you explained, like, okay, don't use the script, think, but like, how do I think? And that's where it gets a little tricky for me. And it was really helpful, like this last conversation that we started like doing feedback on what could be done better, because I don't know, I feel like sometimes I don't know what to say, because I read the conversations, like the examples, but I don't empathize, because I know I would not answer like that if I was a prospect, you know? So that's where I get stuck.
Yeah, and we'll be working on, improving that with these frameworks so it gets better over time. Yeah. Okay, guys, I just have to run for another call. But we'll be catching up tomorrow. I'll be dropping this recording link because I believe there's, a lot you guys can rewatch this and learn because we covered a lot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Most likely we'll start with role plays. Yeah. Okay.
You can share with us this call.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be dropping it on the group.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
See you.